I'm calling tonight for a siege mentality. I am calling tonight for us against them attitude to the end of the season. Guys, we have to come together. We have to bond together as one club, one team. Because if tonight's football games, in particular that one at Easter Road, shows us nothing, not only do we have to beat what is put in front of us in terms of the teams, but we have to beat the Scottish FA and the officials if we are going to win the league this season. Now, I don't really want to talk about that game last night at Easter Road. I don't really want to talk about that lot from across the city, but I think, it would be kind of remiss not to at least touch on it or mention it here at the start of the video. We are going to talk Rangers. We are going to talk Cifuentes, Sterling, the Rangers women's team, and Rangers league fixtures going forward and what we can expect. So let's just touch on it for a minute. Now, I've got to say, I've been watching football for over 40 years now, and that's quite a while, quite a long time. I've got to say that in my 40 years of watching football, and I've seen games that, have actually been proven to be fixed in the past, with some teams from other countries. But I can quite categorically state that I have never, ever, ever seen a referee as appallingly bad as Nick Walsh was last night in that game. I have never, ever seen in over 40 years, a penalty given for a clash of heads. It was a clash of heads. Their first goal, a penalty, was a clash of heads. It should be stop the game, check both players are okay, resume the game with a drop ball. That's what you do as a referee. You certainly don't give one of the two teams whose players were involved in that clash of heads a penalty kick. I would, you know what? I would love to sit down with Nick Walsh and say, please explain to me how that is a penalty kick. Please explain it, because Nick, in 40 years, I can never remember another penalty being given for a clash of heads. As a referee, you are taught, and I'm a qualified ref, that you are a clash of heads, you stop the game, you check both players are okay, you resume the game with a drop ball. There was no deliberate action by either player to injure either player. There was no deliberate action by either player to take out either player. Therefore, it is not anything other than a stop the game, drop ball, resume the game. There was a blatant handball that was missed as well. The Celtic player's hands are above his head. So how that is a natural position, God only knows. Boyle is booked for diving when he was quite clearly fouled. I'm not being funny, but genuinely, UEFA do need to look into that game tonight and look at what went on tonight in that match, because I'm sorry, there is something not quite right about that game tonight. Something very dodgy indeed. Those penalties were, look, I think it's just bad. Honestly, genuinely, if I'm going to say what it is, it's just bad refereeing. And Nick Walsh is a dreadful referee. Most Scottish referees are dreadful. That's a fact. That is an utter fact. They are just awful. The standards of refereeing, how they miss things and how they give certain decisions when watching, I just beggars belief in my estimations. But like I said, forget that for a minute now. That Celtic team are absolute rank rotten. They are a dreadful team. Absolutely dreadful team. They are lucky to win that game tonight. Chris Sutton is sat there in the commentary box, creaming over it. Pathetic. At the end of the day, that was luck. Sheer, pure luck. That is worrying, I suppose, that they have some luck. But they are, if we cannot beat this team to a league title, I don't know how the hell we'll ever win one again, because they are genuinely one of the worst Celtic teams I have seen in a long, long time. They are utterly, utterly appalling. Just genuinely awful. Guys, this is the time now where we must come together. We must bond together. This is an us against them situation. This is a everyone hates us, we don't care situation. This is a Rangers against the world situation here today and from now on until the end of the season. It has to be that way now. We have to come together as a team, as a fan base, as a group, and work together to overcome not only like I said, the teams we are up against, but the officials and the Scottish FA. That is quite clear from tonight's game. That was genuinely one of the worst refereed games that I've ever seen in my entire life. The standards of refereeing in this country are utterly appalling. Utterly appalling. I think that, then, like I said, that is all it is. Nothing else, just bad referees. That's it. There's no, there's literally no corruption there. There is none of that at all. It is just the fact that it is just awful standards. Awful standards. Well, let's talk a little bit about Rangers now. News came out yesterday that the decision to send Dujon Sterling off has been appealed by Rangers. That hearing will take place today. From the podcast last night, there's not a lot of positivity. The decision will be overturned. A lot of people don't think the Rangers will get a fair hearing. I've watched that. I've watched the incident back now 3, 4, 5 times, a good few times now, and I've watched it back in real time, and I've watched it back in slow mo. To me, there's no way that can be a sending off. Absolutely zero way. And I'd say that if it was the other way around as well. If that had been McKenzie on Sterling, I would say the same. It's a yellow card, little out. That's it. No more. It is a yellow card. Move on. Get on with the game. The reason I say it's a yellow card is because of the following factors. Number 1, Sterling slips as he makes the tackle. Number 2, he is not out of control. Number 3, his both feet do not leave the floor. Number 4, his studs do not make contact with the player's shin or ankle or knee because he is not off the ground. Therefore, number 5 as well, there is no deliberate intent to injure the player. Therefore, there is no serious foul play. It is a yellow card and a yellow card only. It does, of course, again, that incident call into question the effectiveness of VAR or perhaps the effectiveness of Don Robertson as a referee. Don Robertson is quite clearly not up to the job of refereeing football. And what's worrying, guys, is that both Don Robertson and Nick Walsh are on the FIFA panel from Scotland, yet both of them are arguably 2 of the worst referees in world football. Like I said, like I said in the podcast last night, if a VAR official calls you over to look at a decision, the main reason that he is calling you over is because you have probably got it wrong. Therefore, to go over and to stick to your original decision after being told by the VAR official you need to look at the decision again is absolutely ridiculous. If the Scottish FA have anything about them, they will overturn Dujon Sterling's red card. If they don't, he will be suspended for 2 games. That probably will be the Ayr game and the Ross County game. Ross County, obviously, who will go into that game maybe under a new manager after Derek Adams resigned from his position as Ross County manager. Look, guys, this is it. This title race is on. It is on, this title race. I think that is an absolute fact. You know, the fact is, without a shadow of a doubt, there are 2 teams in this. They may not want to admit it. They may feel that it's their title. They may feel that they've got this all wrapped up, etc., etc. You know, that they've broken the Brendan Rodgers hoodoo at Easter Road. That as far as they're concerned, that fight back tonight, which has got absolutely nothing to do with their ability, more to do with poor refereeing, you know, shows that they are on it and they will go on and win the title. I do not think that is the case. Rangers are playing the better football. Rangers are the better team at this moment in time. If we continue this run of form until the end of the season, then for me, we are in it with every opportunity to win this league. Here is the Scottish Premiership table as it stands tonight. Celtic top on 61, but having played a game more. The goal difference is +2. We are only 3 points behind them with that game in hand. Win that game in hand, win it by 2 or more goals, we will go joint top, or win it by 3 goals, we go top of the league on our own. So, look, it's still all to play for. It's still all in there. It is definitely a title race that is definitely 100% on. Now, one player who will not be taking part in this title race is Ecuadorian midfielder Jose Cifuentes, who has joined Cruzeiro on a season-long loan with an option to buy for £2 million. Cifuentes has completed his move to Cruzeiro. He was originally thought to be going out to Turkey to join Rizespor. He have turned that down, didn't fancy the move to Turkey, so is heading over to Brazil to join up with Cruzeiro. Now, Brazil's transfer window is still open because of the fact that their season is different to European seasons. It is open till to the start of March. So Cifuentes leaves Rangers after playing 9 Scottish Premiership games and totaling 1 assist with 1 red card. He played 5 Europa League games with 1 assist, 2 Scottish League Cup games, and 4 UEFA Champions League games. Only 2 assists in his 20 appearances for the club. Now, Cifuentes, obviously, as we remember, came into this club with an awful lot of hype around him. You know, a lot of he's a generational talent. He's a box to box. He'll change this midfield. You know, I think he's been held back by a couple of factors. Number one, his injuries have held him back. He has missed a number of games through injury. And number two, he's never really settled to the Scottish game. And I think that's something that it is always the risk of happening when players come from the MLS or come from South America or come from wherever, come from a league outside of Europe. Because quite frankly, as I've said on numerous occasions, on numerous videos, that British football is quite unlike anything else in this world in terms of its intensity, its speed, its the way the game is played, the passion. Also, the pressure of being a Rangers player, the expectations at Ibrox is an awful lot, and it is a very much a sink or swim type situation. And obviously, Cifuentes has sunk. He has really struggled. And look, we all obviously hoped that he could be that next great Rangers midfielder, that he'd be one of those players that could be flipped for an awful lot of money in the future, given the fact that, in previous years, he had been linked with a 10 to 15 million pound move to the English Premier League. Unfortunately, that hasn't come off. But selling him for 2 million would still make a 1 million pound profit on the deal. So, obviously, I wish Jose all the very best. I hope he's a success in Cruzeiro for his own personal good, and also for Rangers' good as well, because it will enable us to sell him for 2 million in the summer. So good luck to Jose Cifuentes. Now, obviously, the Cup is the competition at the weekend. We take on Ayr United with the newly found Rangers-loving Scott Brown, who was a Rangers fan as a kid, and his family are all Rangers fans, and there's a picture of him in a Rangers shirt, and apparently he loves us again now. Hey guys, I'm sure Ibrox will show you how much they love you, Scott, when you return on Saturday with your Ayr United team. But, we look beyond that Ayr game on Saturday. When we look through February, these are the 4 fixtures remaining in February. And look, you look at those 4 fixtures and it's got to be 12 points. It has to be 12 points. There is no margin for error now. This title race being what it is, there is literally no margin for error. Now, Wednesday, we play against Ross County. Our game in hand, we win that game by 3 goals. We go top of the league on our own. Ross County are a club in crisis. A club that is really struggling at this moment in time. So that is a game that we've got to be targeting to go and win. A game that we've really got to go there and put them to the sword. Ross County have just gone down 5-0 to Motherwell. Yes, that will obviously be a situation where they're hurting. The players will want to prove that they're not as bad as Derek Adams made them out to be. That they are a team that is capable of doing it for their fans. So look, let's have a quick look at this league table as it stands at this moment in time, where Ross County are. As you can see from the table, Ross County second off bottom, 19 points, 4 defeats out of their last 5, only 4 wins all season, conceded 38 goals, minus 19 goal difference. They are 5 points away from St Johnstone, and it's only them that are giving Livy any hope in this league at this moment in time. So, they're not a good team. They really are not a good team. So that is a game that we need to be going and winning easily, especially as it is at Ibrox. We then, on the 18th, travel away to St Johnstone. A game again that St Johnstone down the bottom there, third off bottom, again a game we should be winning quite easily. Rain, then it's a home game against Hearts. Hearts will obviously come and try and make it as difficult as possible for us. They're third. They want to keep that push for third going. They are no mugs. Lauren Shankland is in excellent form this season. So look, at the end of the day, that probably is going to be the toughest of the games. But again, we have more than enough to beat them. If you look at the results tonight, they've only beaten St Johnstone 1-0 away from home. St Mirren won 2-0 against Dundee, and Killy beat Livingston 1-0 as Killy continued their excellent run. We are then obviously going away to Kilmarnock. Now that I think will be a very tough game. Derek McInnes will have his team bang up for that game. It's on that horrible pitch at Rugby Park. They've already beaten us and Celtic at Rugby Park. So that for me is the toughest game of all of them. An evening kickoff as well on the 28th. So that out of all the games is the one that perhaps carries the most threat. But again, it's got to be going there with the right mentality, with that winning mentality, with that positive mentality. We have more than enough talented players on this team to win those 4 games, and we need to win those 4 games. There is no more margin for error. And like I said, guys, it needs to be us against the world now. It needs to be a siege mentality. So Alex Ferguson used to do it all the time at Manchester United. Create that siege mentality, create the us against them kind of philosophy. And that's what we need to create now. We need to really push this on now. Like I said, after last night's game at Easter Road, which was an utter disgrace, it needs to be that for Rangers, a real, us against them. We concentrate only on us. We only worry about what we are doing at the end of the day. Well, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below of the stories we've covered in the video this morning. Obviously, please hit the like and obviously subscribe to the channel. On the way out, guys, 2 things I always ask of you. Number 1 is to hit the like, and number 2 is to remember, always, never forget, we are the people. Sorry, I forgot to mention something on the video. I do apologize. I forgot to mention the Rangers women's team continuing their fantastic season under Joe Potter. A 1-0 win at Broadwood over Heart of Midlothian. A goal from Jane Ross winning the game tonight for Rangers. Fabulous, fantastic performance by the Rangers women, keeping up the brilliant run that they are currently on. Well done, girls. Well done, Joe Potter. Well done, Jane Ross. Well done to all Rangers women's team. Thank you very much, guys. We are the people. Take 2.